Let me. Great. Good evening, everyone. Really happy to see everyone on board. I know more people will come on board, but as Alex and I said earlier on, we like to start on time. Welcome to Lifewave. We've got quite a few newbies here tonight, which is really exciting. As I've said to them, if something goes over your head, please don't be like me and stress about it. You always go back to the person who invited you, or you come to another Zoom call, and a couple of months later, like me, down the line, 1,000% more than you did when you started. So just before we start with the presentation, I'm going to quickly tell you my story, how I came to Lifewave, and then Alex will also share her story, and then we'll start the presentation. We like to start on time and end on time. We know you are all busy. So yes, Kim Knight, I knew nothing about Lifewave at all. I mean, I had no clue it even existed. I wished for something like that because I do believe in self-healing and stable pharmaceuticals and things like that. Anyway, I'm a life and business coach, and I was doing in May last year, I was doing one of my regular yearly courses. And you might know Amanda Ace. She attends a lot of my courses, and she was on board. But I knew something was up. She was very excited about something, and she kind of chatted to me, and she said something new is happening, but I can't speak about it now. Let's speak after the course. So I was very curious, and I will be very honest, and I will tell you that I thought, I wonder if it's got something to do with multi-level marketing, because I know her other business is multi-level marketing. And to be quite honest, I'm quite allergic to anything multi-level marketing. I tried it once, lasted 3 days, and that was that. Okay. But because I know, like, and trust her, I've known her for some years now through networking. I wanted to hear her out, and I remember one Wednesday evening I said, let's call, and we had I think it was like quite late at night, and we chatted on WhatsApp. On a WhatsApp call, and she just started, and she could not stop talking about this new product and what she was doing and all the healing and the dogs and the cats and the people. I mean, she was just gushing over, and I actually just let her talk because I could hear the excitement, but also I can still hear it. I could hear the gratitude for actually being introduced to something like Lifewave. And very tearful as well. When you see things happening in front of your eyes, it's amazing. So I thought that night, Kim, don't go there, but I knew I was going there. In my head, I had already signed up. After that call, just from Amanda's, her excitement and the sheer gratitude, I actually messaged a colleague of mine or peer, Trish, and I said to Trish, I mean, I had just been on one call. I said to Trish, there's something I want to introduce you to, but I need to know the T's and C's. Let me find out more and get ready. Okay. And that was it. I was already promoting Lifewave before I knew anything about it. I just knew instinctively this is what I wanted. I wasn't looking for any business opportunity. Health-wise, I will always look for something that will help me. I mean, I want to live till 120 if I can. I've got a lot to do. But honestly, I started promoting Lifewave before I even signed up. And then I signed up, got my patches, and the rest is history. So from not wanting anything to do with, very honestly, everyone, I didn't care that it was a multi-level marketing company. That was not important to me. I just wanted to start with Lifewave. I wanted to start patching. And as for the rest, I just said to myself, I'm jumping with both feet in, and I'll learn along the way. And that's honestly, for the first time in my life, that's how I did this business. I didn't bother about researching or anything. I'll learn along the way. And here I am, I think, 8 months later, and very happy to be here. So that's my story. Alex, would you like to go ahead, or would you like to do your story later?
That's fine. Let me do it now. Then it gets that out the way. So I've been involved, which is for almost 18 months now. It took me 8 months to get involved. I was enormously skeptical. I had this all sounded like a whole bunch of hooey to me. I am a nurse by initial qualification, and I've owned my own businesses and been involved in the pharmaceutical industry for many, many years. So for me, I needed to understand the science. I needed to know that there was science, and then I needed to understand it. So I spent months reading papers, watching videos, investigating both the company and the product in a huge amount of depth. And much against my better judgment, at the end of that, I actually had to admit that this patch does do what it claims to do. So that this technology was in fact quite extraordinary, and that the company is credible, ethical, financially sound, well established, based on scientific research, backed by patents. It's solid. And so through that, I was approached by a friend whose brother had dementia. And so that's where I started to look at it, because otherwise I never would have. And yeah, the rest is history. So I took it personally for polymyalgia, which is an inflammatory autoimmune disease that I'd had for 20 years, that I'd managed with anti-inflammatories and cortisone and all sorts of energetic work and fascial release and physios and chiropractors, and the list goes on. And I was managing it, but I had really bad times. I was never bedridden, but my life was awkward and uncomfortable and constantly pain focused. And because I understood what stem cells did, I took them. I did it properly. In that time, I was sometimes really sore, sometimes really tired, but there were other days when I felt totally fabulous, particularly the first day that I put X39 on. I swear it felt like somebody had given me a whole bunch of new engines. And I kept on taking it because I understood what the process was about, which was healing, not disease management. And that takes time and that uses energy, and it's a different process. And for 10 months, I lost all my polymyalgia pain. So if I'd stopped at 8 months or 6 months or 9 months, I wouldn't be telling you the story. And everybody is different, and I will never go back. And I'm enormously grateful that I did not stop using it, because it's absolutely changed my life. In between, I got tiny little things, which were not so tiny at the time. A whole lot of my hair had fallen out, and it's all come back. I've lost all my fine lines. I had a leaky gut because I was so stressed. I'd lost 20 kilos, and that's also why my hair fell out. And my gut was healed. I had to recolonize it, but my gut was healed. It really did change an enormous amount of things for me. So that's my story.
Wonderful.
Thanks, Kim.
Thank you. So I'm going to share our PowerPoint, our presentation. Just give me a minute. Share. And okay, fantastic. So everyone, let's start with the presentation. And the first thing we always start with is, have you been patched yet? As you've heard, myself and Alex, and we've been, Alex is maybe 18 months, I'm a bit shorter. Maybe you haven't started patching yet, and maybe you like, I think it's Moya, your name, remember Moya? You received your patches today. So really, really exciting stuff. I remember when I received my patches, I just like couldn't wait. So it's all about elevating, activating, and regenerating your stem cells. So you cannot speak about X39 or Lifewave without speaking about David Smith, who is the CEO and inventor of Lifewave. He actually has over, I think it's over 180 patents now. He stopped counting at 150. He's not a doctor. He's a scientist and inventor, and he specializes in age reversing. So keep that in mind when we carry on with the presentation. And in 2008, he started focusing on stem cell research, because I don't know if you remember, back in those days, all of a sudden you started hearing about stem cells and how important they were. That was 2008. And his recent patent, the one that we're focusing on tonight, X39, took 10 years to bring to research and $4.5 million to bring to market. So I think that's really important because, to spend that kind of money and time, you've got to believe in it, otherwise you wouldn't. It is, as Alex said, it's patented technology. Now, if you know anything about a patent, and you can read that on the screen, I won't read it out to you, but a patent is nothing to be sneezed at. It really, they go through rigorous trials, tests, things that they have to check. It has to do what they say it's going to do. And that's the only time you will get a patent, that it's proven to do what you say it's going to do. So we've now got a patent for X39, and we've got, what's very important, if you're interested in the business of Lifewave, is that we've still got 15 years of the patent left. And what a patent means is no one can copy this. You cannot go into a pharmacy and get a duplicate of this on the shelf. It just doesn't exist. And I think that's really, really important. So it is a patented technology. So why the X39 stem cell activation patch? I really knew nothing about this when I started Lifewave. Well, in fact, as I said, I didn't know anything about Lifewave. But the fewer stem cells you have, the faster you age and the slower you heal. And you will know that if you think, when you were a child and you fell and you scraped your knee, the next day it was kind of almost healed. But now if we do that, it takes a little bit longer, and that's all got to do with stem cells. And as we can see, hundreds of millions of people around us are experiencing symptoms of aging. We see those people, our family, our parents, our friends, etc. What I truly didn't know was that so we've got millions of stem cells, but by the age of 30, only half your stem cells are active. They are there, but they're not active, so they're not doing anything. And by the age of 60, you lose almost all stem cell activity. So that stands to reason why if we get sick or if we hurt ourselves, if we break our bones or whatever at 60 or older, why it takes so long to heal. So how does X39 work? It's a proprietary form of phototherapy, patented nanocrystal technology. If you see that picture, it's all like these little, Alex knows this quite well, little things put together, and it's a technology. It's not pharmaceutical, right? All it does is it reflects light to activate. So I've taken my patch off tonight already, but when you put it on your body, the infrared light of your body, it's from your own body, sees the patch, and then it's reflected back in, and that's when it activates the stem cell. So it's using the light of your body. It's self-healing. That's what I love. It's non-transdermal. You're not putting anything into your body. You're not putting an injection. You're not doing transplants, anything like that. There are absolutely no drug chemicals or stimulants in the patch. It's just a combination of water, oxygen, and amino acids and things like that. And it's non-invasive. Now that's what I love. It's just like a plaster, and you put it on your body. So that for me is you don't even feel it on your skin. Also, by the way, if you are very sensitive, your skin is very sensitive, you can wear it on your clothes and it has exactly the same effect. But what's really important about that we should know is that Lifewave products are not intended to diagnose. We're not doctors. Treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition. Okay? The patch is there to help your body to self-heal. So the benefits of X39 are many. As Alex said, when she started X39, she didn't know that, certain things were going to happen, but they did. But we're just going to mention 8 that really immediately people start talking about, and myself as well. As Alex said, when she put X39 on, it was like she was like a different person. It's true. But you have increased strength, reduced inflammation, increased stamina. That I really felt almost immediately. A lot of energy and vitality. I'm lecturing at a university and my students ask me to slow down. It's like, I'm not slowing down. So you're just energetic, but it's a real, it's not a tired energy. It's like you can keep on going. Mental clarity, that brain fog kind of disappears, which is profound. Restored muscular and skeletal conditions, improvement of sleep. This is something I didn't expect at all, that was going to happen. And within the first week, that happened with me. And improved skin appearance. And if you come to some of the calls and come to more calls, you will hear a lot about improved skin appearance. Alex already mentioned that some people even think their friends and that have had like Mo have had facelifts or Botox, but it's not. It's just truly, it's just the patch. I must say that when I look in the mirror, I can see a difference in me. I look different. I don't know what it is, but I look different. So it's all about achieving optimal health, a state, what I like, a state of complete physical, but not only physical, mental and social well-being. Because you will know, everyone, when you're sick, it's the worst thing in the world. I really hate being sick. But when you're physically well, like everything is better, your life is just better. So also mental and social well-being. Now, what I love nowadays, I mean, all with this new technology that we have, you can literally take photographs of the brain. And this is what this slide is all about. And in one of the clinical trials, this lady participant, 77-year-old lady, um, they the, the, these are the photographs of her brain. So if we look at session 1, this is what her brain looked like before she started X39. Okay, lots of inflammation. You can see all that red and sort of orangey. Lots of inflammation in the brain. Lack of brain coherence. You can imagine if there's so much inflammation, the brain fog and all of that must be quite high. Patched her after 3 weeks, only 3 weeks on X39. There was no more. That is the same person. Look at that photograph. No more inflammation, and of course, then improved brain coherence. And then after session 3, which was only 6 weeks on X39, complete turnabout. Look at that from session 1 and better brain coherence. So, and I think what's important about this is that after the 6 weeks, her brain remained calm and didn't, revert back to what it was in session 1. So that is a real story of this lady. Okay, so X39, long-lasting results. So we're not into quick fixes. Yes, I know sometimes it's nice to have a quick fix, but we want longevity. We want, good improved health and well-being. So this is profound, and Alex always mentions this. In the first few days, and I think, Alex, that's why you experienced that when you put the X39 on, because within the first few days, 4,000 genes begin to reset in your body. That's what I've always wanted. Like, I want my genes to reset. Can I have a new body, right? Within 6 weeks, as we saw in the previous slide, your brain becomes more balanced. So if you have more brain coherence, you just function better. And within 3 months, your collagen is increased. And this is very important because I was raised, and I think many of us, when we think of collagen, we think of good nails and hair and things like that, and skin. But it's one of the most important proteins that heals, that's important for all the organs in your body and not only the skin. It is vital that we have collagen in our body. And within 6 months, and they've also done clinical trials on this, your heart, remember we said reversing in age, your heart reverses in age. And on some of the trials, up to 8 years, I think it was, Alex, it reverses in age. Now, I can do with that. So let's say we're 50, and within 6 months, I could be, 44. Yeah, I'll take that. It's amazing. And you can see it. You can just see it in how people are. So what I love is it's not anti-aging. A lot of stuff out there talks about anti-aging. It's actually age reversing. And we truly can see it. People that I see on the Zoom calls, you can actually see that happen. So very easy. How do you wear the X39? You wear your patch 12 hours on, 12 hours off to repair and rejuvenate. That's very important because you know, sometimes we leave it on, we forget that it's on and you leave it on a bit longer. It's not a train smash as long as you don't do it too much. Then after 12 hours, you throw the patch away. We can do other things with the used patch, but we'll speak to you about that afterwards or when you speak to the person that invited you. Then the next day, you put a new patch on and you repeat. You can wear more than one patch at a time. What we mean by that is there are 10 patches. X39 is one of the patches, but X39 is the one that regenerates your stem cells. But we have other patches like Aeon, which is for inflammation. We have Icewave, which is for pain. We have Silent Nights, which is for sleeping. Now you can wear an X39 and an Aeon and an Icewave at the same time. But some people they think they're speeding up the process by wearing 2 X39s at the same time. You're really wasting your money. The one X39 is doing the work. So only wear one X39, but you can wear other patches. What's very, very important to drink plenty of water to hydrate yourself. Remember, our bodies are full of electricity. We need water to optimize the process. And what we always highly encourage you to do is also take hydration supplements just to help the process along, to really optimize that process. So, you know, X39, I mean, as you can hear, it's so sophisticated, it's incredible, it's actually mind-blowing, but it's really simple to explain. And the testimonies of X39 are life-changing and emotional. I mean, I've cried a few times. I try not to let people see me cry, but, you know, honestly, when you know that someone is almost on death's door, and then, you know, a couple of weeks later, they're going home from hospices and things like that, it's incredible. It brings you it humbles you. And the best thing about X39 is that it absolutely, absolutely works. So I'm going to stop the share right now for some testimonials. And you've heard from myself and Alex. So there's so many people here with wonderful testimonials. Who is going to be brave enough to share? Tilly, do you mind about your restless legs and low? And I'll tell you why I want Tilly to hear this. I experienced this once in my life and it was terrible. I can't even imagine how people can live with this. And Tilly had that. So Tilly, can you go ahead and share that wonderful testimonial with us? Tilly?
Hi.
Let me see if I can.
Yes, sure.
There.
Sure. Yeah. Well, look, when I started, initially, I must say this, as it was said before, not everyone heals as fast. I was one of those lucky people that had a lot of healing happen very quickly. Thanks to David Schmidt and God, both together. Right. When I first started, there were quite a few things that weren't going right for me. And I think the worst thing that I had to endure was restless leg syndrome, which I had for about 15 years. And quite often my doctor wouldn't even pay attention to that. You know, I wasn't given the kind of backup or understanding that I should have had, because if you know about restless leg syndrome, you cannot sleep because the legs just have a life of its own. So within 14 days of not sleeping for 15 years, I had a full night's sleep and got up the next morning around 10 o'clock, and everyone was so shocked. And my husband says that he kept peeping in to see that I was still alive. So that's been incredible. And I'll say this because this now happened about a year ago. I'm on the X39 for about a year, not quite a year. So I've been sleeping from about the middle of February last year up until now. When I put my head down on the pillow, I'm lights out. And you know, it is such an incredible feeling. And you wouldn't really appreciate that if you hadn't had a prior problem with sleeping. And I mean, for that number of years, you know. Yeah, well, that was just one of the healing that had happened, I had experienced. And then the other one was with the COVID vaccines. I was forced, I didn't want to take them, but I was forced to take it. And after that, I found that I had been having raging fever bouts for once in 2 weeks. And the raging fever would go on for about 2 to 3 days. An awful fever. It's just incredible. But from the time I put on my first patch, and that was only the X39, I've never had a bout ever again. So that for me has changed my life completely. I mean, there's so many other things that have happened, you know, I mean, besides like the fine lines disappearing and the hair so much thicker. And well, I had a fall last year at the end of November. And when I got to the first thing I did was I said, quickly get me my patches. So I patched myself up pretty well. I had so many aeons. I had on my hand, on my foot, because I knew I broke the bones in my foot, and I had broken the same bones in 2016. And that was another thing that healed itself beautifully with no pain at all, because I used to have occasional bouts of pain on my foot from 2016. But after the X39 had started, that pain disappeared completely. But unfortunately, after my fall at the end of November, I broke the same bones again on my foot, and I broke the bones on my hand. And normally, things really take very long to heal, and I have a real battle. But I had put on all my patches before I went to hospital. And when the orthopedic surgeon saw, well, I had all the x-rays done and all of that, you know, with emergencies, and then the orthopedic surgeon saw me. So when he lifted off the sheet from my foot, he actually turned around to the matron and said, are you sure that this is the patient whose x-rays we've just looked at? There was no swelling at all, nothing. You couldn't see that I had broken the bones again, besides just the blue. You know, the foot had gotten blue, but there was no swelling. And then even on the arm, there was minimal amount of swelling, so much so that he actually didn't realize that I was the real patient, or the right patient whose x-rays that he had seen. So, well, my healing process has been carrying on pretty well. I've been using a lot of our products. At the moment, I'm using the X49 as well, because that builds bones. I've got a plate in my hand and with 5 screws, but it's healing so beautifully. I don't know if you can see this, but it's healing really well. And I've got my Aeon on that I put on late this afternoon because the swelling had started up again. So if I do this, I don't know, you can see the creases. That'll show you how the swelling has gone down. So yeah, that's my testimonies about a few things that have happened in my life. Yeah. And I don't know how I could be here today talking if I hadn't gotten into Lifewave and tried all the patches, and wonderful things have happened. My life is really, I've basically got my life back again. So that's me. Thank you. Thanks, Kim.
You're welcome. Really amazing. I was fortunate enough to meet Tilly at one of our conferences a couple of months ago, and your arm was in a sling, so I see it's not in a sling now. That's amazing.
Yes, that's right.
Would one more person like to share a testimonial? I see Belle. Oh, Teresa, go for it. Teresa, or would you like to give a testimonial? No. Okay. Anyone else?
Right. I'll give a testimonial. Oh, Sally, you go ahead.
Okay, just quickly. Hi. I've only been in the business for a couple of months. This is my first Zoom call that I've been brave enough to come onto a Zoom call. And brought a couple of people with me as well. So I was introduced by Val to the patches. I was extremely skeptical. But I have had ectopic eczema. I'm 45. I've had ectopic eczema since I was born. I've been hospitalized with it. My hands are always covered with really big red sores all over it. I've been to specialists, dermatologists. I've had lotions and potions forever. And I said to Val, well, if you can heal my skin, I'm in. And I literally, after a few days, I started to see a little bit of a change. And I was still, well, this is just a coincidence. You know, it could have got better anyway. And I thought, once I start, my hormones kick off and the weather changes and I get ill, all these things. And I think I'm allergic to so many things as well. So I was expecting it to all go downhill again. And I just kept with it. After 3 weeks, there was a massive improvement. And I've got to say that now, 2 months on, I've got no red sores on my hands at all. And my parents cannot believe it because they've watched me as a child with such a bad skin condition. So I just wanted to pop on quickly because it's my first Zoom call, but just say hi to everyone. But
Done.
that's
Amazing.
it.
That's amazing, Sally. Thank you. And maybe time for one more short testimonial. Anyone?
I'll share. Hello, everybody.
Okay.
Thanks,
My name's Candace, and I'm not going to be sharing about myself this evening, but in July this year, my dad actually was diagnosed with tuberculosis, and I nearly lost him. He was literally on death's door. He was 39 kilograms, and he'd been patching, and we were so confused as to how he got sick, but we still can't figure out how. But within a couple of months, he was much better. He did have to still medicate because they've got very strict rules with, having to take the medication. But I reckon within 4 months, he was pretty much better. And not only that, he's only ever used X39. And we were patching him then with the glutathione and the energy enhancer just to allow him to breathe more. And I really did notice a difference. But for me, the biggest thing has been that he's been patching for about 2 months now with X49. And he was able to put on about 10 kilograms in the last couple of months since healing. But his muscles in his arms, his biceps, are actually, it's like he's been pumping weights. I can't believe it because he was skin and bone. And now if he flexes, he's actually got these muscles like he's been doing weights. So I'm just amazed. I mean, I know that they said X49 helps with muscle growth, but I've never seen such a huge improvement, and he wasn't even exercising. So yeah, I'm just so impressed with that. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Kans, and thanks for that testimonial, because not many people speak about the X49, but I've heard amazing things about them. So, and wonderful to hear about your dad, honestly. Thanks for everyone for sharing. I'm going to get back to the, where are we now? I've just got one more slide. Let's share. And then I'm going to hand over to our beautiful Alex. So let's see. If you're new, and we've got quite a few newbies on board tonight, this is just a fantastic website, especially if you're someone like Alex who loves doing a lot of research. Okay, this is at info.com. You can take a screenshot of this or quickly write it down. We will mention it again before the end of the presentation. But if you want to know more and you do like research, this is wonderful. Everything to do with X39, clinical trials, testimonials, the works. Okay, this is the site to go to. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand over to Alex, and she's going to do the business part of the presentation. Thank you, Alex.
Perfect. Okay, Sally, just to tell you, in terms of your eczema, as nurses, we always used to say, once a dermatologist has a practice, he's set for life because nobody ever gets better. So you don't have to go on keep recruiting new people because it's just chronic and it goes on forever and they just keep coming back. So you have changed the paradigm. How wonderful is that?
Brilliant, thanks.
Okay, I'm excited to talk about the business, guys, because the patch is the vehicle. And then the business is simply the means with which we get this to people. So Lifewave, a 20-year-old company, jogged along at 20 million from 2004, more or less, year after year after year. So a solid, stable company. And then with the introduction of X39, which was at the end of 2018, 2019, the company started to grow because of the results and because of the accessibility of X39. And if you look at those figures, last year, we did in excess of 600 million. If there wasn't a product that worked, seriously, guys, there can't be that many stupid people in the world. So we're in over 100 countries, is what I heard David Schmidt say at the last virtual conference. And a significant important thing here is this is not a Me Too product. It's absolutely unique. It is absolutely patented. So there is no competition. Thanks, Kim. So Lifewave is now ranked the number one momentum company for the 4th year in a row for businessforhome.org. This is much more an American orientation than it is ours. But this slide tells you that we have grown since 2018, 3,000%. I'm sure there are people on this call that are business people. And if you understand the concept of that, that's unheard of. Seriously, it does not happen. And if it does happen, it's often problematic because it's not backed by logistics. So then you run out of what you're supposed to be supplying because nobody anticipated the growth. That has never, ever happened at Lifewave. We've never run out of stuff. It's never short in supply. It's never non-delivered, ever, in my 18 months here, ever. So what is most important to you? And you know what? Everybody's got a different button and everybody's got a different need. So it may be your family, it may be to travel, it may be to recover from some financial disaster created by COVID or something else. Life is unpredictable and things happen to people. So whatever we may need extra funding for, it may be a really basic requirement, or it may be just a fun requirement. Either way, your access route is where you come in, should you choose to make this a business. Our compensation plan, and I'm going to keep this really brief, guys, because you've just had a whole lot of information. And the business side of this, you really understand as you go, because as things become more relevant to you, so you understand more of what you need to understand. In the beginning, it was seriously just a noise for me, like a whole bunch of cymbals banging in my ears. So I'm fine on the clinical side, but this for me was like a bridge too far. So the compensation plan, it's easy. It's getting started is as easy as knowing 4 people and helping them to go manager. It sounds oversimplistic, but it's the truth. Okay. And this is not about selling. It's about sharing. Because it's a personal experience. And that sounds like a cliche, and cliches are there because cliches are appropriate. But in this situation, it really is about sharing, because eventually you're unable to keep quiet. So we work on 2 teams, right and left. Your team commission can eventually get up to $25,000 US dollars for those of you that are in South Africa. That's like a wow of money in our country. Okay, so that's quite hard to get to, but in between that, you're getting a whole lot of other amounts of dollars once a week. Okay, matching bonuses. This is quite unique to Lifewave, and I'm not going to go into too much detail about this because once again, too much information without a context. But really what matching bonuses mean is that we benefit from the people below us who are successful from a financial point of view, and we benefit to 3 levels down. So you will notice, or if you stick around long enough, you will notice that the culture in this company is that we work, pardon me, in teams, and everybody helps everybody else. Even teams that are not part of our team, we all work together because we're all working for a common good. And so, for example, just one very small example, if the person I signed up earns $100 in a week, I will be paid $25 by the company for helping her understand what was going on and earn her $100. And it goes down to 3 levels. So, how do you get involved in Lifewave? There are a variety of packages. It depends on how many people you're patching. It depends on what you're patching for. And by the way, we don't always patch for sickness. We actually patch sometimes for staying well and making a lifestyle choice. So try not to exclude talking to people who you think may not have a problem, because you have absolutely no idea who is in their world and who exists in their world. So core, $295. That's 3 sleeves of, that is 6 credits, so 3 sleeves of X39. Advanced, $535. 6 sleeves of X39. And then premium is probably for a serious entrepreneur or somebody who would use patches in their business, like a chiro or a physio or a doctor or a pharmacy, where they would be dispensing, for want of a better word, patches to other people. It is the most economical way to do it. And that is essentially the person who invited you here can help you understand all of this. And there's lots of support in terms of helping you to understand. So this is a team. On the left, you've heard from Kim, which is a clinical website. On the right-hand side, this is a team.com. Is like if you were buying a franchise, they'd give you a manual. So this is how to run your business. If you watch everything that is on here, you will learn and know a great deal. So it's a good idea to go onto this website and have a look. And just remember, as someone who's owned several businesses, one of which was a franchise, it costs a fortune to buy a franchise, and then to sustain that franchise by all the franchise fees and whatever is a lot of money. This is nothing, guys. You don't pay anything for this. You just buy patches, which you use. And that's your entry into the franchise. So your overheads are close to zero and they never go up. It's a seriously good business proposition. So, what is it that will motivate you? We all make emotional decisions. We should all be, I guess, from a responsibility point of view, motivated by logic. But this is about how people feel and how people visualize and see where they want to be. So if you're serious about changing anything, there is hope here, both in terms of your health and in terms of your financial future. And all you have to do is just begin with X39. The straightforward answer to everything is X39. We do have conferences, virtual and otherwise, all over the place, and they are great places of learning. And that's pretty much that.
Thank you, Alex. Sorry, Alex, you always make me laugh. You've got a great sense of humor, or it's a kind of sense of humor that I like. But thank you, Alex, and so well explained as well. And Alex, if I can just quickly, before we stop the recording, just to mention when you talked about the matching bonuses, and as you said, let's say your downline makes $100 this week, Alex will automatically get $25. But it's not from her downline's money. Her downline will get $100. This was very important to me because, you know, I don't like that kind of system. The company Lifewave rewards you with $25 for helping your team grow. So that person still gets $100. It's like, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, the compensation plan is just beyond amazing. So everyone,
sorry, I didn't realize I hadn't said that. Sorry.
Not a problem. I mean, we truly do. You know, Alex and I are kind of on different teams. We're under abundance, but we're on different teams. But we support each other, and it truly is like that. It's not just lip service. We really do work together. But for everyone who's new here tonight, please, 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 if you're interested or want to know more, go back to the person who invited you. They would absolutely love to chat to you. And remember, if they don't know the answer, they speak to their upline. We will always find someone that can help you with your question. Okay, so go back to them, and any question that you have, ask them, or if you want to get signed up, you know, they will help you do that as well. So Alex, before we stop the recording, would you like to say anything in closing?
I'd just like to say thank you all for attending. Thank you all for contributing and for listening and for being engaged. It makes an enormous difference to present to people who are engaged. So thank you for that. And guys, think seriously, both from a health and a financial point of view. This is a massive opportunity. These don't come along a hell of a frequently in anybody's lifetime. So we've all been given a gift, and it's just about having the opportunity and the flexibility to see that and to make the best of it.
I agree, Alex. And just before stopping the recording, I truly, truly am grateful that I was prepared to listen to Amanda and that I'm now introduced to Lifewave, because 10 years, 5 years, 2 years down the line, to not have been involved would just kill me, to be quite honest. You know, I wouldn't want to waste any time, quite honestly. But I'm going to stop the recording now. Thanks again for everyone who joined us. Let me just quickly stop the recording.